go nice with the Cane of Samaria. I like to go mean with bombs.
Oh, I'm sure bombs will be nice in their own regard because if you have enough, you can save them. And we are getting started here. I am not your uncle.
I mean, I think we all knew that because there's one, no family resemblance, and two, realistically, if you don't have any parents, you can't have an uncle.
Alright, so we're starting off with what looked to be a capacity upgrade. Those are also randomized in our pool. And as you can see, another feature of the randomizer is we can change the sprite. So we have Papoi from Secret of Mana on the left here for Zaaen. And on the right, we have a custom sprite, I believe. It's Problems' unique one. It's Pete the Penguin. And we get a bow start!
That's nice. We'll have 35 arrows to start with because we got that early arrow upgrade. Not something you necessarily see. Bow and arrow is usually one of the nicer weapons to start with. It does a lot of damage. You can get through things pretty easy. Not to mention you can farm up bombs relatively easy, as well as having some early routing decisions, being able to go ahead and clear out Eastern. So probably one of the nicest openings you could hope for.
Yeah. And probably should mention this as well, just for things' sake. If you get a magic weapon, you also get full magic. If you get bombs, you get a stack of 10. Plus any extras you have bomb capacity expansion to start off with. And if you somehow run out of ammunition and you can't kill any of the required enemies, a save quit will replenish your ammunition to some degree.
Yeah, the developers did that in order to prevent you from ever soft locking. Now, you have to have some proficiency. You can't just be firing off fire rod shots willy-nilly or arrows into a wall and just say do-do-do. So you have to be wise with your ammunition there a little bit.
Yeah, so as we're going around, we only have a couple of 20 rupees here so far. Nothing too major just yet. You see Problems trying to grind just for some bombs here. The prize packs are also shuffled, so these green guards could drop a bomb.
Yeah, no bombs as of yet, which is a little bit concerning, but both these runners are fully capable of it. We're already down about 10 arrows-ish from either runners, so they're going to have to start being a little bit more conservative. You have to get through. The only enemy left that you absolutely must kill is going to be that sewer rat.
Yeah. If it's a bomb escape, he might as well be the final boss of the escape sequence. Because he's small, he's fast, and he has a key you need. Speaking of keys, there is the sewers key, as it's known.
Yep, one of 2 dungeon items in the entire escape sequence, so we knew we were going to get that at some point. The map is still out there. Hopefully it's in that sank chest so they can avoid it entirely.
I sometimes open that on instinct, even if it is the map chest. You just nag me every time I save quit it and come back to Sanctuary.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I feel like I have to explain every time someone actually does it, because inevitably someone in chat will say, why isn't that just open? And I feel obligated to explain how things work.
Alright, so the next major grinding style they're going to have is the rope tunnel, as I think it's called, or maybe I'm just making that up. There's just a hallway just full of the snake enemies called ropes, but there is a bomb for Problems. And there's a fairy in that prize pool as well, so Zaaen, I think, is just a little bit further behind in the item table.
Yeah, Problems has done a lot of killing. You can even see that he's in his arrow count there, he's used quite a few more arrows than Zaaen has, so it might be a little bit of time before Zaaen is able to pick up that bomb. Problems making good work there. He will not have to be farming at all anymore, so he's going to enjoy a few second head start, or if Zaaen does not end up finding a bomb, he's going to enjoy some of that safety knowledge, knowing that whatever's in the back of that escape, he's already gotten.
Yeah, he can also just grind. I'm just going to grind these ropes a little bit. No, nothing on the ropes.
There is a certain school of thought that says if you don't get bombs early on, just keep going. But, when the dungeon just throws them in your face.
Right when they needed them the most. Very nice find from both runners.
That's convenient. Oh, the snipe from Problems.
And the snipe from Zaaen. Both of them getting it. Very nice.
Off-screen shot. That's impressive.
It's... Well, I mean, I don't think the rat starts moving till it's on screen. There's the lamp. Oh, and there's the map, and there's a heart container. Map is some... The lamp is fairly interesting. Also, you may have noticed we had the light cone before then. We give that as a freebie to those running the escape sequence in standard mode. But now that we have the lamp, all the other dark rooms will be lit up as normal.
Yeah, that lamp is certainly interesting. It'll absolutely open up Eastern Palace. I would not be surprised if we see one of these runners end up dipping over into Eastern, even before doing the South Shore area, just because it's logically right there and able to be done.
Yeah, we have full access, actually, to whatever is in Eastern Palace.
Yep, and that's between the 3 in Sahasrara's chest and the 3 that are in Eastern. Might see a quick map check, but since you can go ahead and clear it, I see no reason not to go ahead and dive in.
Well, I think our runners are going to go ahead and loot Kakariko for all it's worth, first and foremost. That seems like a solid play. There's over a dozen items there.
It looks like we have our first route divergent. Zaaen is actually looking like he's going to check what's on the Lumberjack ledge. Meanwhile, Problems is going to eschew that for now and go ahead and check these 2 items that are in the Lost Woods.
Well, Mushroom is just a small shield. Problems is not going to pick that up.
No respect for the shield.
Oh, is that a sword?
That's a sword.
Okay. That is not as big as the deal as it seems.
Well, it increases the likelihood that even if the sword isn't necessarily required and we may not do Aga, that does increase the likelihood that we're going to have a Master Sword Ganon fight later on, which is just horrible.
Yeah. The flip side, though, is that sword may not necessarily be in our logic.
Well, not for a little bit, at very least.
Yeah, it could just be Buttersword for all we know. Alright, Problems on his way to the Thieves Hut. 20 rubies so far. Another 20. The Ice Rod, hello. Another arrow extension.
So, early Ice Rod, that means Pendant Turtle Rock, right? Almost certainly.
Oh, there's some more ammo as well. I would not discount Turtle Rock just yet. I mean, obviously we don't have a map check.
And to point out something from Chameleon, he said it would have to be the Tempered or Golden Sword. Not necessarily, because you can fight Agahnim with a fighter sword. So that one is guaranteed not to be a fighter sword because you only need one sword to cut down the curtain. You can get through that with, logically, actually, with just the fighter sword and the cape. So you're right in that it can't be the fighter sword, but it can be any of the other swords.
Yeah. And there's half magic. Very interesting. And 20% return on his investment. Not exactly the best item.
I mean, it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. And 3 crystals. 1, 2, 3 in the light world.
And that chicken clip is not good. And there's our actual first sword.
That's super nice, yeah. So we'll have our first real consistent weapon, even though the bow is pretty nice at that point in time. But I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. We have the lamp and we have a sword. All we need is either another sword, if we find a third one already, or the cape, and we have full Aga logical access.
Yeah, but you know what? In this specific instance, I wouldn't actually mind an Agahnim seed this time because that will incentivize getting that extra sword off of Lumberjack later.
If you're required to do Agahnim, absolutely. I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to do Agahnim if that was the only other sword, but if it's a required logically, then yeah, I
Wait.
probably would jump up and get it.
That was such a fast library check. Was that silver arrows I saw?
I did not see because Problems is very fast.
Well, maybe we'll catch it on Zaane's end.
And here we see kind of one of the new metas going ahead and starting the maze game, and then it's a bloomerang, so he's going to save and quit. That way, you optimize your time. Yeah, you sacrifice about 10 seconds or so starting the maze game, but you save so much time if it is something of value instead of just checking it.
Chat is saying it looked like a normal 10 arrows. Let's just double check here with Zaaen real quick. He's going to check the library in just a moment. Yep, just 10 arrows. The check was so fast, I couldn't tell.
And Problems is going to be following kind of the normal standard logic, I guess you would say, is going into the South Shore area, checking the dam, checking mini mold worms, seeing exactly what's going to go there.
I mean, it makes sense. You would check those locations. You would start. You would have access to without any other means of getting anywhere.
Well, and as is the case with most randomizers, it's not necessarily or not just what you do. In these one-on-one races, it's what your opponent doesn't do. So both of them going here into the South Shore area and kind of doing the same routing doesn't necessarily impact either one. Now, if someone had opted to go ahead and dip over into Eastern first and it had some sort of progression, then that would give a little bit of an edge. But right now, both of them effectively doing the same thing doesn't really impact either of them yet.
All right, so here we go with Mini Moldworm Cave. There's our first bottle.
Yeah, first bottle and then a bunch of money, and that's it. So, I mean, the bee's nice.
Yeah, bee dwarf's nice to have, I guess.
So it looks like Problems is also going to be going over here and checking the Ice Rod Cave. Another pretty standard thing to do. There's no real great time to check the Ice Rod Cave other than when you're already kind of in the area down here.
Yeah, it's one of those locations that are available to you from the get-go. It's just really out of the way. And also one of the more dangerous because these crabs do 2 whole hearts of damage.
Yeah, one of the most deadly enemies in the light world. They do quite a bit of damage, so you got to be careful, especially in the early game when you only have just a couple hearts.
Oh.
And our first access part of the Dark World access chain, the Power Glove.
That's also important because that's our mountain access as well. We can now go up and see the old man.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily advise doing it right now because there's so much more value that can be gained a little bit later. But Old Man and at least the Spectacle Rock are now open to us. So that's some interesting logical access right now. Problems did set up the fake flipper. Looks like he's going to check what's on the Hylia Island and the Hobo directly.
Meanwhile, Zaaen is going to save and quit straight from Ice Rod and go somewhere else.
Yeah, there's some different philosophies about doing this early sequence break. Sometimes it can really put you behind, other times it can really put you ahead. It's just kind of a risk-reward situation. We'll see if it ends up helping Problems right now.
And it's just for the red boomerang.
Yeah, not nearly enough rupees, and you to do Zora, and you do not have the Moon Pearl check. So I think that was a bit of a lost opportunity there for Problems. Zaaen is the first one over into the eastern area. We'll see what he finds in the back of Shamalama Ding Dong's closet.
Yeah, or Sarsaparilla as I like to call him. And today we have Bombos! Money! And an armor upgrade. Very nice.
I tell you what, that was more hype than Mini Moldorm Cave.
And I'm surprised he didn't also talk to Sarasso. That would have given us a little bit of insight into our Dark World, because it is a 3-pendant Dark World.
That might be something you want, but since you're going to have to go ahead and do a map check in Dark World anyway, I could obviously see avoiding that right now. It's more valuable in Key Sanity, where you don't know where the crystals and pendants are, and the map checks don't really help you at all. So, I can see avoiding doing that.
Yeah, but just having that little extra information can sometimes help. Alright, so here we go with Eastern Palace. This is a dungeon that we've had access to since the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it always felt like this particular seed is pulling you in that direction, and there's our second lift upgrade, the Titan's Mitts.
The second piece of 3 to get our Dark World access. The last piece, of course, is the Moon Pearl. Because we cannot stay in the Dark World in our human form. We'll be transformed into a bunny.
And I think it is a bunny penguin, and I'm not quite sure what Papoi turns into. It's been a long time since I've checked that.
It turns into the Secret of Mana Moogle, actually.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Alright, so we do have our big key. So big chest will be checked.
And this is interesting. If we get 2 items in these next chests, okay, never mind. I could say we could possibly skip that vanilla big key location if we end up getting 2 items here back to back, but I doubt that's going to happen now. Zaaen is going to go ahead and full clear it.
Yeah, and there's another heart container. Full clearing is not the worst thing to do. This is a relatively small dungeon. It just takes a little bit of time. Alright, so now Zaaen is heading over to that vanilla big key chest. Should do a damage boost to lift the pot up without having to solve the combat puzzle, as is the norm.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about this round of 128. You get to see all the new tech and all the strats and everything. If you ever wanted to play Randomizer but never really knew the intricacies, the ins and outs, just watch this tournament. You will learn everything you need to know, I swear.
Except maybe the timing for hovering, but that's a different story altogether.
I mean, that's clearly just cheating.
It depends on your point of view on it. Anyway, Zaaen is heading over to fight the Armos Knights. They do have an item on them. We do have to get past these red Igors. Nice 8 prize.
Looks like Problems is actually pulling out money. He sees how close he is to possibly a Zora check, so he's actually rerouted over here into this mini money room in Eastern Palace. I like the heads up thought there.
I do too, because that is in logic. Boots! Eastern
GG,
sorry.
French vanilla boots.
Might as well be.
Oh my, that's absolutely very, very nice. It does things like, opening up bonk rocks, we also have a couple other locations, but more importantly, I think, as speedrunners, we just like to go fast.
Yeah, boots are the item you want to see in a run. Although, given the fact they were both behind a boss you can reach from the beginning of the game, both runners will have access to them, so it just matters how well you use them at this point. And there's our Moon Pearl, which was Boots' lock.
Which was locked behind the boots and the Titansmith. So yeah, absolutely. Eastern first thing was absolutely required. Good call. Reading the breadcrumbs by Zaaen. We'll see if Problems does the exact same thing. I can't imagine he won't because there's not a ton of other options at this point.
Yeah, and with that, we do now officially have Darkworld access. However, if those wanting this to be an Agahnim seed, still could be.
Yep, Aga is still very much alive. We still do not have access to the eastern part of the Dark World. We need either the hammer or the flippers in order to get us access to that other side. So if both the hammer and the flippers are locked over there, we very well could require Agahnim still.
Yes, and if we find the flippers, Aga's still not dead. Because there is a situation in which the hammer can be behind Pyramid Fairy. We've seen it actually in the 7th round of Swiss.
We saw it just yesterday in one of the matches that I commentated, actually.
So we both have had called the legendary 4th instance Aga, as I call it.
Yeah, Hammer Fairy. I mean, Aga was required for many other things. There's our map check. Thieves Town, Misery Mire, and Ice Palace are our pendants, and then Turtle Rock and Swamp Palace are going to be our 5-6. So very busy map in the Dark World compared to the Light World.
Yeah, and now we see Problems checking the well and knows that it is Master Sword there, so
Probably not terribly happy to see that, but that's a worthwhile check. Again, a lot of people are avoiding doing those checks into Lumberjack Ledge until you at least have the boots, because, you know, logically it's there.
And hello to Ether being in Skull Woods. Zaaen picking that up.
Problems making kind of a low percent play up here on Death Mountain. He's going to take the old man up and then check Spectacle Rock. Nothing else is logically up here. He can't really get much past it, so it is kind of a low percent play. Again, as I said earlier, it's not necessarily about what you do, it's also about what your opponent doesn't do. We'll see if this pays off for Problems.
Well, if nothing else, he's getting the same quick point up to the mountain, which arguably is the fastest one when you got the flute. But he knows he has Darkhold access at this point. So he's just checking all the locations he can before he jumps in.
That's fair. One to knock that out. Yep.
Mountain, though, not paying out, so he could have avoided it for the time being. But again, at least has the Mountain Cave warp point. Starting point.
Zaaen getting intentionally grabbed by Trump there. All right, and we see Problems doing his routing over here. Zaaen is going to be checking this bumper ledge. Sees just only the most important thing in the game, only not really the bug net.
Yeah. Although it is a nice safety to have when you combine it with the powder, it's not required. Unless you're doing like Swordless, in which it is required. I think. Anyway, see house, nothing good there. Problem's gonna be checking Goldwood's here now.
Well, and Zaaen dipped out of Skullwoods relatively early, so I don't think there was anything necessarily of value here.
Well, I mean, there is Ether. For all we know, that could be required.
Well, and It's possible. We do have 2 medallions now, and I mean, both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock are crystals, so it's possible.
Wait, I thought Mire was a...
Yeah, I thought Mire was a pendant too. I just looked at the tracker for a second.
Yeah. 50 rupees either way from the game for Zaaen. I'm sure we'll get a double check here on problems and we'll reconfirm.
So Zaaen is dipping into Thieves Town. It is a pendant Thieves Town.
And yes, it is pendant Mire. And pendant Ice. So Skullwoods is a crystal.
So far, Zaaen hasn't really found anything too interesting in this Thieves Town.
So when I asked, are all 3 streams using the same seed? That, I don't think so. Oh no. I'm not entirely sure on that. Yeah, Zaaen does indeed have Ether.
Yeah, each race uses the same seed. So 3 races that are going on right now, they all have different seeds.
Alright, so here we go with the Hellway. Nicely done. Alright, so we now see Zaaen with the small key, so that means the big chest could have a dungeon item or could have an important item. And there's red mail.
I mean, that's nice. I think blue mail is probably more important in terms of your first upgrade. After that, I think you'd like to see some more progression items as opposed to more safety.
Alright, so we see Problem still checking through the Village of Outcasts here. Yeah. I'm still shaking out the cowboys. This is kind of early for me.
It's alright. It's alright. The one thing, unless Zaaen ends up finding the hammer here, we're going to have to avoid checking this other treasure chest in the back.
Well, it's another item. I haven't been keeping count, so...
I honestly think that's only 2 items at this point in time. Like, this was... The front end of Escape was Garbo. Like, it was the small key, the big key, the map, and the compass. So all 4 items were in the back.
That means there is an item in the chest.
Absolutely. Wait. What did he say?
I don't remember what I think that's new. I've never seen that before.
I'm gonna have to watch a little closer when Problems is playing. Something about fetch quests, and my ears perked.
And there's the piece of heart, so there is an item in the big chest.
Yeah, that's gonna be real dangerous.
Oh, retrievers love fetch quest.
Oh.
It's a dog joke. I get it now. Alright.
Alright, well, I think we're going to do here shortly check the digging game, and then we might take Jeremiah on a wonderful world tour.
Yep, so here we go. Zaaen digging holes. Normally this is complete RNG, and it still is to some degree. But you can see that was the 10th dig, and it will be the 10th dig for problems as well. The maximum digs we've locked it to is 30, so if it has to go that far, it will.
It can, but it would be really cruel to do that to people. So, of course, lots of seeds require it. All right, so we are taking Jeremiah on a world tour here. He's going to check in with Stumpy and then go over here to Hype Cave. So far, nothing, but I'm getting a feeling this might be a hype cave because there's really not much else we can do at this point.
You know, I'll call it a high five cave if it actually has a hookshot or the mirror, because then we can actually go to the true hype cave, which is Paradox.
All right, get your guesses in chat. How hype is Hype Cave? Is it going to be like 1 of 10, 10 of 10, 8 of 10, money of 10?
Money so far? Money, money, money.
Oh my
All
god.
the money!
Yeah, we had ourselves a Jerry Maguire cave.
Well, they're set for money now.
You know, the one thing that is technically in logic that we have not taken into account yet is Zora.
Someone is asking why is Problems behind. Problems has done a little bit more overworld checks than Zaaen has.
Yeah, remember, Problems went up to Death Mountain to do a quick check up there first.
He also has checked. He has also checked Hobo.
Absolutely. So it only looks like he's behind. It's really difficult to say behind or ahead until we're in a go mode sort of situation because of the different checks that you have to make.
And I guess I should mention this in case you're new here. There's our hook shot, first and foremost, on the Blacksmiths. What we mean by go mode is our runners will have everything they need to finish the game and go fight Ganon. Hookshot's one of the items they need. They'll also need the fire rod in this case. They'll need Cane Samaria. Hammers needed. Flutes needed in this. No, flutes actually not needed in this seed. Never mind.
Not necessarily, unless something is in Misery Mire to require it. So Zaaen is going to follow the breadcrumb. The only thing that really Hookshot unlocks right at this point is going to be that east side of Death Mountain, which, as you pointed out, that Paradox Cave, there's 8 treasures that are opened up to us between Paradox and Spiral Cave. So lots of potential there.
Oh, it's a lot more potential than that. It's upwards of 14 items.
Oh, that's right, because we have Dark Death Mountain that we can go ahead and do as well. I completely forgot. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, we can check what we call Super Bunny Cave. We can check Hookshot Cave. And also, we can get the one medallion we need checked. We can check Turtle Rock.
All right, Problems is about to be supremely disappointed with this hype cave, but Zaaen is going to show us. What are you doing, Zaaen? Oh, no. Oops. I think he dipped in there thinking, yeah, I can check Spike Cave while I'm over. Oh wait, Hammer.
Yeah, Hammer is one of those items that unlocks so much of the seed. That's why you get in the first Dark World dungeon. It unlocks half of the Dark World on its own.
All right, Problems is getting ready to finish up, and he'll be able to do a saving quit to get it back up to the Death Mountain relatively quickly because he has already been up there. So he's going to be right on Zane's heels in a very short order.
And here we go at Paradise Cave. We are on the first floor, but we fall down apparently to this basement first. This cave is weird because it doesn't fit with the map. But anyway, piece of heart. And the Cane of Samaria to start us off.
I mean, that's nice because you need it for Turtle Rock, but again, not the progression I think they're necessarily looking for right now, because that does, give us an increased likelihood that Turtle Rock will have something else that, we're still looking for other items.
Yes, folks, and for those just tuning in as well, I think we forgot to mention this. This is a single elimination tournament, so once this set is done, the loser goes home. And there's our cape.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh wait, no, that's right. We finally now have access to Palace of Darkness area through Aga.
Yeah, that is literally the last thing they wanted to see up here. Because if there's nothing else up here, then logically, I mean, if they don't find the hammer or the flippers, that means our access is likely going to end up having to be through Agahnim, which would be horrible.
So essentially, we can water rush back Aga. While that is maybe true, that is still a sequence break. Logically, we have to go through Aga. And I go back again. What did we see at Lumberjack Cave?
We found that sword. Yep.
So having it be Aga required is not necessarily a bad thing. Sure, it's a time waste, but you're guaranteed to get a sword whenever you decide to go over to Lumberjack. And both runners know this as well. Both of them have done their Lumberjack check.
All right, so now Zaaen is going to give us our next little bit of intel here. It might be interesting to see if Zaaen ends up doing the fake flippers over to Hobo to try to sequence break around that horrible, horrible, horrible Aga required for east side of Death of Dark World. Problems has already done the sequence break over to Hobo, although he hasn't done Pyramid Fairy, and of course there is still Zora on the table as well.
There's another bottle with a bee in it. Okay, there's our Master Sword. So if they just try to sequence break over to Palace of Darkness area, which, by the way, at this point, they do have logical access to there through Aga, they can also pick up Tempered Sword at the same time.
And that would be nice. I think I would actually really like to see that. And we see Bombos is going to be on Turtle Rock.
So we have our medallion requirement for the seed. At least in terms of getting all our crystals.
Two more. 50 rupees, one more. We're going to Aga!
Yep, folks, this is Aga required by the logic.
Well, there's still one more. I got too hyped because there is Zora that's still in logic.
That's right. And some people are saying that they can still water walk. It's still what I call instance 3 Aga. You have Dark World access, but you don't have access to Palace of Darkness. Because you lack the flippers or the hammer to reach it.
Zaaen also doing something. Yeah, I completely forgot about Green Pendant.
It's just 50 rupees.
Yeah, I mean, this comes down to, it looks like Problems is going to be making the same play. Zaaen might be setting up that fake flipper to try to sequence break around it.
Zaaen might sequence break up to Zora completely. Because with the Moon Pro, he can do a water walk to get the waterfall cave items, as well as check Zora. And the Zora ledge.
Yeah, I can see him absolutely doing that. That's exactly what he's doing. Instead, Problems is going to go up the old-fashioned way. Looks like he's going to be heading over there. No, where are you going, Problems?
Problems?
Might Problems be doing purple chest? Because I think that's also technically in logic.
Yes, it is actually. So we're seeing a little bit of divergence here. So
this is the spot that is bottlenecked. Both runners wanting to avoid this play over here to Aga.
Oh, I remember now. There's a waterwalk set up in Skull Woods that you can do. But no, it looks like it is going to be the purple chest.
I mean, this is a low percent play for Problems, but if it saves you from going up to Aga, and that's first and foremost on both these runners' minds, they do not want to have to do that. So they're going to spend, there's nothing like spending, 5 or 6 minutes to avoid a 3-minute climb up Aga Tower that you were trying to avoid.
And also someone else is pointing out, we have not seen Agahnim at all. We could have had flippers or the hammer for a long time now. That is one of our last early checks we could have done.
And
all right,
I imagine Problems might be doing that here shortly as well.
20 rupees for the purple chest. Secrets broke fake flippers for just some money. So it is either Zora or it is Agahnim. Bomb booster on the desert ledge. Not even checking the island, the ledge.
Oh, no, he decided he needed to.
Ledge, is there another bottle?
All the bottles have been bees and bottles. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, Agahnim from Problems is 20 rupees. Zora, 50 rupees. There's no two ways about it now. This is an Aga seed.
Oh, that's so horrible for both these runners. And Problems is going to be doing kind of the same sequence breaking that Zaaen just did. Zaaen is going over to Agahnim right now.
So yeah, so
this is how desperate both these runners want to avoid this particular Aga play.
Oh, so Problems is gonna check Zora real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, this is guaranteed Aga at this point. We both know it.
You know it. I know it. They know it. They're avoiding it though.
Well, they're finally checking every last location they can. And I say this once again, even though it is a required Agahnim, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because that'll give him Tempered Sword or a Lumberjack. And, of course, the access to Palace of Darkness.
And there's Zaaen remembering that, oh yeah, there's that purple chest that I can go ahead and do. Problems definitely had better routing, putting those two together, purple chest and Aginna's cave. So Zaaen, when you look at it, is not going to have quite as an efficient check here. That might cause Problems to catch up a little bit here.
Yeah, this is, I think, ProblemsIRL last check, so he'll now know that it's Aga.
Or he's going to do something else.
It looks like Problems will be doing the water walk from Skull Woods like we had mentioned earlier. This will skip the flippers requirement into reach. Or this will skip the Aga requirement, rather. He is going to forego the Tempered Sword he would have gotten had he done Aga, though.
This is not something that comes into play terribly frequently here. So we'll see. And the worst part is, if you ever have to save and quit, it can really cause some issues, because you have to do this glitch every single time you want to get to this part of the Dark World, unless you end up finding something first.
Yeah, so here we go. He's going to set it up on this pit here. Gonna check it on these stairs. And he has set it up. Meanwhile, Zaaen is going to Aga.
Yeah, I think Zane's making the safer play at this point in time, but Problems is doing what he can to avoid this right now. So I can't blame him, honestly.
Yeah. He's saving himself a few moments, but he's also losing out on the advantage he has from Tempered Master over Tempered in the long run, which could save Zaaen a little bit the time he makes up. Or rather, Zaaen can make up the time from that with that sword.
All right, so Problems is hoping to find either here on Pyramid or in Palace of Darkness further access so he can completely dodge that Aga play.
Well, it's a bomb mister so far.
Pod has just got to be loaded, doesn't it?
Yeah, chat's now in a nice little discussion here. It's going to be fairly interesting to see how the race would be different. Or will be different now. Alright,
yeah, I mean, it's certainly Agahnim intended at this point in time. Problems is sequence breaking around it for now.
Yeah. And
Silvers. Wow.
Both runners now have silver arrows. Will have, rather. There's no way Zaaen does not check that when he gets out of Aga. So what is in Lumberjack? It is a sword upgrade. So Zaaen, after finishing Aga, will have access to a tempered sword if he chooses to go over there. And both runners do know that it's there.
So if we do not find another sword, I think Zaaen is going to end up having quite a bit of a sword advantage going through. I mean, it's a good minute and a half difference on Ganon by itself. Just a matter of, is the time sink worth it at this point in time? It's not horrible, but it does mitigate, I think, a little bit that Agahnim, but that can all be canceled out if we find that fourth sword somewhere.
That is correct. Alright, so here we go. This is the dungeon to be in. And the first chest is a small key. And we're getting a couple of blue balls already, it looks like.
What is that, 3 blue balls already?
So Problems is going to have... Okay, Problems, I was going to say now, made a great call here. This Aga is terrible. 4 blue ball Aga!
Yeah, this is officially, I think the median is 3, so the fact that it's 4 already, oh god, this might be bad. And I think one more and he's gone. Nope, okay.
This is the last hit here. So a 4 blue ball Aga. Force 3 cycle. But now has access to Dark World. Or the Palace of Darkness. And Zaaen picking up the silver arrows. Meanwhile, Props is heading to the Bowlock side here.
Yeah, with silver is not a problem. This should be, in fact, most of the dungeons from here on out should be relatively easy.
And there is the flute, which puts Meyer in play. And our big key.
I don't know if that's necessarily something you wanted to see. Problems opting to just backtrack. I guess he's going to try to Death Warp. Smartest thing to do is using those spikes to Death Warp. With Red Mail, the berries don't do a whole lot of damage, but spikes will always do 1 heart of damage to you.
Yeah, Death Warping here is the only time save he can do. Because Saving Quit will just put him all the way back in the light world at this point, and he does not want to reset up the fake flippers.
Absolutely not. It'd be really kind of terrible in the hilarious sort of way if Misery Mire actually had our next progression. Because that's Misery Mire Shed, and then Misery Mire, the only things that have been unlocked up to this point in time.
Alright, so here we are at the Broken Bridge, and it looks like Problem is setting up the
Hammer
Yup! Tripping over my own words. 20 rubies in the big chest.
Now, this could be a problem for Problems. If the flute is the only progression we end up finding here, that means to get back to this side, if we don't find progression somewhere in Misery Mire, and he has to come back to this area at some point, well, I guess the only reason he would come back is if he found the hammer and he... Okay, never mind. I just think that one through.
Yeah, at this point, he's just going to clear this area and then use the flute to find where his actual way to get here is. Oh! There's the Book of Medora. And
he was counting items and knows that there was just a key in that last treasure chest, so...
So now... Problems is... going to desert. Wait. No?
He started going to desert and realized, oh yeah, I have the flute. There's a much easier way to get over there.
Yeah, that is true. So a small misstep there for Problems, but not too much of a time loss. Alright. You know what to do, chat.
Hashtag Neil.
And insert a rhyme here as we have released the swag duck.
I mean, let's see. The rhymes are just too numerous to count. The goose is loose. The pheasant is present. The dodo is a go-go. The quack is back.
Alright, so now we are seeing the desert play from Problems. Nice hammer also from Zaaen. I still need to practice that.
So it is interesting that Problems is, again, kind of making a play to do desert first before Misery Mire.
Well, desert, he can full clear. Mire, he can also full clear, but he doesn't have the means to mirror from Mire to desert.
That's fair. I guess that's good routing there.
So he's choosing to get this done first, which makes absolute sense in my mind. Also, Mire's dependent. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so doing the crystal dungeon first totally makes sense. Zaaen not counting his keys, realizing he's spending a key to get a key. Save the frames, man.
Alright, so props checking right side desert. Zaaen will begin the flute online, and we will actually have the music for the swag duck. Feasts are found in the desert. Oh, things are heating up now. We just found the fire rod.
I approve of that pun. Yeah, that might very well be our progression, because that does give us access now to complete the entire back half of Skull Woods, and it seems like we're missing at least one item from there.
Yeah, we have the means to finish Skull Woods. And if we find the flippers at some point, that means we also have the means to finish Ice Palace. Although we could have just used Bombos for that. But it's far easier and far faster to use the Fire Rod.
Well, especially in Problem's case right now, because he's going to have only the Tempered Sword at this point, or only the Master Sword. The Fire Rod does more damage to Cold Stare, so between that and Half Magic, yeah, that's two things you would definitely want to have.
Not only that, you can use Bombos to break the shell and have as many shots as possible.
And no hammer, so we can't even get there.
That's a good point.
Feels
we'll
bad,
get there.
man.
Well, we can get there eventually. For all we know, the hammer could be in Ice Palace.
Oh, God, that would be horrible. That would be horrible.
It's possible, though. But you at least take solace in the fact that because Turtle Rock is a 5/6, it cannot be on behind the Pyramid Fairy. Because you need the hammer. Because you need the hammer to get there in the first place. Also, flippers can't be on the 5/6. Because that's blocked by swamp.
Same with mirror, which is nice.
And speaking of which, what could be on Ped still? We can check it now.
Let's see. I mean, the only thing that it can't be on Ped are flippers and hammer. So mirror could technically be on the pedestal if we really want to get trolly, but the Ped index is quickly dying here.
Yeah. I think it has to be mirror at pedestal, and that's the only way we're going to have a pedestal seat today.
Yep. Problems is, again, avoiding the Misery Mire Shed, which is usually a pretty quick check over there, and says, now I'm going right to Skull Woods.
And Ped could have Quake, yeah, but it doesn't really matter because we already have the required medallion.
Oh, Problems getting unintentionally grabbed by that orange grabby hand there.
Yeah, Quake is a useless pet item here. The only progression item that could be a pedestal, I think, is the mirror, or anything that would lead to the mirror, like the shovel. Alright, so here we go. ProblemsIRL is going to be heading over to Moth here in just a little bit. Wow, unfortunately, the last Lambolas is trolling Zaaen. Gets him down, though. Meanwhile, Probs is fighting them off. We've already found one item here. That was Ether. Second item must be in the back in the final chest.
Alright, in the meantime, Zaaen is going to be fluting away, and Zaaen is going to be checking those Misery Mire sheds. So this is kind of our first real, well, I can't say first real route divergence, but this is something that Problems has not checked yet. This could pull Zaaen back into this race.
And it looks like Misery Mire also required Bombos. And there's the mirror!
Oh my goodness.
That is huge for Zaaen.
Problems had a great sequence break to get ahead of this very linear seed that's been a race up to this point in time. Using that sequence break to avoid Aga entirely. But man, skipping that mirror location is going to cause Problems. He's got to get back there relatively quick.
There is another shield there, so we logically have access to Fire Shield as well. My favorite shield, unfortunately. And with the mirror... Oh, geez. Where's our progression going to take us now? We have so much open to us.
Yeah, we have access to Tower of Hera. We have access to, of course, Cave 45 and Graveyard Ledge. We still can't get into
Swamp's first chest. Oh, no, wait, right. No flippers. Never mind. I almost forgot about that. Zaaen is riding up here to get his Tempered Sword.
Yep, that will help him out quite a bit. Problems, meanwhile, I've got to imagine the only place he can go is going to check that Mire shed.
Wait, there's a Mire shed emote? Nice.
That's kind of swag. Of course, it's a Boyne. Yeah, okay.
Alright, well, Problems will now get the mirror, so it's not too much of a timed loss. But he wishes he had that for when he finished Smallfield. This is now he doesn't get the chance to check ped. Although we now know it's completely dead. Nothing can be there that was required.
Absolutely. And Problems is going to mirror over here until he realized, oh yeah, I've already done this.
So now the play is gotta be check Ether. Yeah, it's gonna be Ether or Bombos, I think, as well as Hera.
Well, we also have Cave 45 and Graveyard Ledge as well. So yeah, it does open up a lot of these one-off kind of out-of-the-way locations. The most dense of which is exactly what both these runners are doing. Ether rewards us with just 3 hundos.
Yep, unfortunate. But hey, at least he has plenty of potion money. Just has to empty all those bees out of his bottles. Alright, so our first item here is the big key. Zaaen will be picking that up. Problems is following suit, though. Now, it may look like Problems is behind, but keep in mind, he's already done Skull Wood, so he's still a little ahead. And there is our first item in Tower Hera. It is just 10 arrows.
Yeah, I hope this isn't a complete bust. It is a crystal, so we would have eventually had to do it anyway. So, I mean, you might as well go ahead and do it, especially when it's in progression. You're hoping to find your next kind of item in the chain. But again, we might not find it here. There's still a lot of places that we can check.
Okay, Batasia, I have to ask you an honest question here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's going to be a Hammer Go mode or a Flippers Go mode? Because that's the last 2 items we are missing.
I hope for the sake of these runners it's a Hammer Go mode. Well, I don't know. It's one of those pick your poisons. If it's a Hammer Go mode, then we can avoid dipping into Turtle Rock. If it's a Flipper Go mode, then we can avoid dipping into Swamp Palace. And technically Ice Palace as well. So, pick your poison.
It's definitely a pick your poison scenario there. If I had to say, though, I would say I want a Hammer Go mode. Because even if you dip Skull Swamp, you're only going to get 1 chest. So it's still going to be relatively a Go mode Swamp. It's still going to be as go mode as you can of a Turtle Rock. And if you get flippers, well, Pen and Ice is now on the table. You can check that for.
Leticus asks an interesting question, and I want to address that. Could this be an upset? To be perfectly honest, I don't know who you would actually logically say is the better runner. There's a very select few people in the randomizer community that you can honestly say are clear-cut better than most of the other runners they face. Zaaen and Problems, while both very talented runners, I would not put them in that category. So I wouldn't say anything's an upset. Either one of these runners could win this race, and it would be perfectly fine.
Yes, the only major time difference here is that Skullwoods is done for Problems, and Skullwoods, and and also Problems has skipped Agahnim through a sequence break. So while, again, it looks like Problems is behind, he's actually done a lot more. And there's the mushroom.
So I got a question for you, Wolflink.
I don't turn it in, no.
Do you want to do a fetch quest?
I want to do a fake powder is what I want to do.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing you do, and then you turn it in right now.
Yeah, skips. And for those wondering what fake powder is, well, the beast attacking the cuckoos. Oh right, we have to go to the Dark World.
We don't have access with the hammer. Oh my gosh.
I forgot about that. Problems is just gonna straight up turn in the mushroom.
I mean, that's risky here.
Risk failed.
So if Zaaen ends up getting something from this magic bat, this would be significant for Zaaen.
Yes, but how significant will it be is the thing. So he uses the cane, gets the beat, but then switches to the mushroom, which activates a powder.
Because this game is coded so well.
It's only 20 rupees for that, as we call fake powder. But at least now he doesn't need to look around for the powder to get that item. It does leave him without magic, though. But I expect him to pick up a green potion at least and chug it when he goes to see the witch.
Alright, so
now,
where are we looking at now? We are looking at Graveyard Ledge and Cave 45, and that's... and
no.
Bombo's template.
Almost have it. One of those three locations has progression in some way, shape, or form.
Keep in mind that the winner of this is the first of 3 races, so this is going to be a hype match the entire way through, start to finish. But the winner between these two gets to face the winner of Zyrak and good old Fred Coughlin.
Ah, yes, Fred Coughlin. Alright, so Graveyard Ledge didn't have anything. Problems gonna hit your ride. Is Problems going to go into... Is Problems going to dip Meyer here? He is! He's going to gamble Meyer.
That's a pretty big gamble. I mean, it's a good gamble, because, I mean, but you're gambling right now that it's not in Cave 45 in that South Grove ledge, and it's not in Bombo. So it's a 50-50 toss-up. We did kind of neglect to mention Meyer.
Well, Meyer is also full clearable, but the pendant is not necessary.
But you know what? Thieves Town had... Wait, nothing for us, did it?
He's just... Oh, right. You know, there's been sort of like this trend with seeds that I've noticed. Just in... for in general. The generator likes putting items in pendant dungeons, so maybe progression's here and Problems is trying to metagame this or something. I don't know.
Well, anything like that is really just confirmation bias at this point, because things can be anywhere. And I think the one thing that version 29 does very, very well is shaking things up incredibly well. Sometimes it's dungeons, sometimes it's pendant dungeons, sometimes it's overworld, and sometimes it gives you like an hour 7 seed like Gloin had yesterday.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that's a tournament record right now. Gloin hit it yesterday with 1 hour and 7 minutes.
All right. So, is this Ganon going to pay off for props? Here we go. Well,
that's one item.
It's one item, and well, there we go, folks. It's Quake.
You know, the useless one.
And there's the big key. And we are not seeing a pet check because Zaaen also knows the pet's not required in all of this seed.
Problems is diving further down. He's going all the way to the vanilla big key chest.
Yep, cutscene chest as it's so accurately named.
Zaaen finds the other item in Skullwood, so we'll see where he ends up going off to yet. Next, the two overworld locations that Problems has not yet checked yet is going to be the Bombos Tablet and K45. And looks like he's going to be going over and checking Graveyard Ledge. Good routing choice, actually, by Zaaen, routing these checks together.
Yeah, and Problems is now going to check the big chest as well as this one last item location here. We've already found one item here in Meyer. The other item looks to be either on the big chest or on Biddy.
And Problems is really, really hoping that it's going to be here. But if it is on Viddy, there it is.
There
okay.
it is. 3 bombs. So Problems did waste some time here in this dungeon, but now knows where to go. It is going to be a little out of the way because he has to go to the warp at 3, but he's still ahead.
Yeah, but these two are going to be neck and neck because it looks like Zaaen is going to be going and checking K45, so these guys are going to be right next to each other.
I dare say Zane's just past Problems.
Yeah, this is all the time that Problems made up with that sequence break. It's lost a little bit from doing Misery Meyer at this point in time. This is so close between these two right now. I mean, this is super hype at this point in time. This linear seed combined with the relative equal skill level. There's a hammer!
There is our hammer, folks. So it was Flute.
Hammer time.
So it was Flute in So is Aga required to get the flute from Palace of Darkness, to get the mirror from Mire Shed, to get the hammer at the cave south of Haunted Grove, otherwise known as Cave 45.
And Zaaen is going ahead and is going to be checking this Bombos tablet for safety. Meanwhile, Problems is saying, nah, I'm going to go ahead and polish off Palace of Darkness now while I can.
Someone is asking, why is it called Cave 45? It's just the number it was listed in the item list, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it's when a seed is generated, there's a gigantic spreadsheet with the names of every item location, and that cave had no good name, so it just got named Cave 45. And the name stuck.
It's kind of a dumb name, to be honest.
We have dumber memes in our community. You have to admit that.
Yes, I'll go ahead and say that as well. So Problems now with the hammer in tow is going to go finish off Helmasaur King. Staying not too far behind him.
We can't underestimate, though, Zaaen with that Tempered Sword will be able to make a little bit quicker work of enemies as he's going through here. We'll see how quickly Problems, because at this point when it's linear, it all comes down to execution. And after this, if there's nothing on Helmasaur King, we're dipping ourselves into Turtle Rock here.
That's right. And I also want to mention, real quick, that it's because of this sequence break that Problems is at a minor disadvantage in terms of combat, because we've had a sword at Agahnim, they both knew about it. Problems chose to forego it, so unless he finds another sword along the way, he is going to have a slower boss fights overall, and a much slower Ganon.
Well, he'll have a slower Trinex fight. I don't know for a fact, because you can use silvers on Argus, you can use silvers on Helmasaur, you can use silver. The only thing you can't use silvers on would be Trinex. So Zaaen could have a faster Trinex fight, but there's still plenty of opportunity to make up some ground or lose some ground. And between here and there, if Problems does end up finding a sword, the difference between Tempered and Butter is minimal.
Yeah. The main difference is Tempered to Master, and if it stays, the swords stay as they are when we go to Ganon, Zaaen has a huge advantage. He'll be able to shave off like 2 minutes off of the Ganon fight compared to Problems at most.
And that was an incredibly clean Helmasaur King fight by Problems. We'll see if Zaaen can follow that up directly.
And leftover explosions from the boss staff.
Alright, so Problems is likely on his way up to Turtle Rock. No real other places to check right now, unless he opts to turn around and check that Bombos tablet, but considering he didn't while he was in the Cave 45 area, I got to imagine he's accepted that if it's there, he's already lost.
Spike Cave.
Oh my god, Spike Cave.
He'll probably do Turtle Rock first, but if it's in Spike Cave, he'll probably finish that up right then and there. While he's on the mountain still.
Yeah, that would make logical sense at that point. And there's nowhere else it could be, really.
Yeah, these slivers are in Turtle Rock.
The worst thing that it could happen to Problems at this point in time is if, for example, he ends up finding the powder and the flippers are in Spike Cave, and he leaves before checking Spike Cave. Because remember, Zaaen already checked the Magic Bat area. Problems, if he sees that powder, might be debated into doing that check.
I don't think Problems will be debated into doing that check, and I say this because you know that he knows better than most that mountain climbs are a time sink. So he'll micromanage his time on the mountain by doing the Spike Cave after Turtle Rock if he finds the powder. And then go check Magic Bat. And they haven't checked Peg Cave either, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
True. Hammer pegs. That's a location that I had forgotten about, which is easy to do.
So, if it turns out that it is at Hammer Pegs, and Problem still does find that powder like we've been talking about, he will be incentivized to get both items done at once, so... Oh, and there's also the Thieves Town Big Chest. I completely forgot about that as well.
Oh my god. It's in Thieves Town Big Chest. I want it to be in Thieves Town Big Chest now.
I don't! Let's have it be nice. Let's have the seed be nice. Come on. It's already been trolly enough.
But Wolf, don't you know, every time someone else plays a Super Trolley Seed like this, that means we don't have to. So right now, Problems has about a 30-second head start.
Alright. And here we go. What is over here? Big key. Small key. Alright, time for what is normally the most lethal enemy in the game, but Red Mail's gonna make them kind of a trivial thing. Still take a bit of damage from them, though.
Yeah, it's enough to not, want to cozy up to him and give him a big hug. We'll say that much.
Yeah, Chain Chomps take a big bite out of you. I think it's like the second highest damage in the entire game. The first of which being contact damage from Ganon. So yeah, they hurt.
Another bottle.
That's all 4 bottles accounted for, I think.
And they all 4 had bees in them. Quick, get Vitorp in here. He has some splaining to do.
You know what? No. I'm gonna predict the Triforce match now. It's gonna be Vitorp was here, just to bring it all together.
Alright, so Problems is going to be checking Mimic Cave, which, again, another logical location. There are 5 total items that are in Turtle Rock, plus Mimic Cave, which makes 6 total, so we'll see. And this is another one of those locations that Zaaen will be able to pick up a couple seconds on. But...
There's the horse! There's go mode. Flippers, go! Problems now is in go mode. It's going to be a slight combat disadvantage like we've been saying, but we'll see if he decides to look. He's looking for temper. There's the Cane of Burna.
Clearly the better cane.
I don't mind it.
So, alright, so we're in go mode at 123. Both runners have got to be feeling pretty good about themselves at this point in time. We'll see where it ends up being.
Well, Zane's not in go mode just yet.
I mean, close enough.
Now he is. So this is a very close race now, folks. Both runners are on each other's heels. This will come down to execution, I think.
It will. I mean, it might also come down to a left-right side gamble in Turtle Rock, or in Ganon's Tower, so keep in mind for that. These two have been very close in execution and performance up to this point in time. It's been a very linear seed, Problems made a good play and a bad play, and that's kept both of them kind of real close to one another. Oh my goodness. We'll have to do laser bridge. There's the key. Problems is committing himself. He's not picking up a single chest more than he has to. Chat making an interesting point. It's possible that Problems knows Zaaen probably picked up the sword because he did go out of his way to sequence break, and it's perfectly logical to go ahead and get a tempered sword if it's an AGA required seat anyway.
Yeah, so this is good heads-up knowledge from Problems if he knows that. Does at least have the hammer to make this fight go by just as fast without the tempered sword. And can burn down the ice head. And down it goes.
Very clean hammer trinex by Problems.
That's right. And Zaaen is in phase 2. Just a big 20 there for Problems.
Oh man! The sync here. Okay.
Alright. Problems. Out of Turtle Rock at 1:26:41.
I got a good timestamp of when they picked up their items. There is only a 14-second difference between the two right now.
$26.53 is what I saw when Zaaen exited Turtle Rock. So yeah, roughly about a 12 to 14 second difference there. This is a race of seconds.
Every second counts, and I think they both, well, they both don't know it. That's the interesting part at this point in time. If you're a fan of Problems right now, though, you are going to hope that he finds that fourth sword somewhere.
Zaaen, I think, has bought some safety potions.
Yep, he does. I see at least one blue potion there.
I'm not sure about Problems, though.
Problems picked up some potions. Remember, he did it when he turned in his mushroom without doing the fake powder glitch.
Right. And Problems is not bothering with chest. He's just go-moding Swamp here, and this is going to be a fairly fast dungeon as a result.
Yeah, at this point, you got to think Problems has committed himself mentally to just going ahead. He might pick up a couple of the easy chests that are just right in the way, but otherwise he's going to be hoping on that sword in Ganon's tower.
Yep. Alright, so Problems is heading their way to the back. Might check Waterfall and just hopes that it's a the fourth sword?
I mean, it's only a couple seconds, so he doesn't know how close this is right now. I can see him at least checking for a couple seconds.
All right, we'll see. Problems?
Nope. No. This is full commitment to doing Master Sword Ganon. And yeah, as a reminder to chat, tournament rules do state if it is within 3 seconds of finishing with one another, it is considered a tie, and they will replay their first match. Not immediately after, they're going to have to reschedule it. We have already had one tie in the bracket stages, which was an amazing race, by the way. And this might come down to that.
Yes. And so we are fighting in Argus here, and this will be Crystal 7, actually, wouldn't it?
Yes, this will be Crystal 7.
All right.
And there's where the Tempered Sword is going to save a lot of time for Zaaen.
All right, and there's just the map on Argus. But there we go. There's our 7th and final crystal catch. So, Batasia, do you want to get us started here?
I will be more than happy to. Ladies and gentlemen and chat, we have a little game we like to play over here in Speed Gaming. There are 22 treasure chests in Ganon's Tower that can possibly contain the Ganon's Tower Big Key. If you're a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming network of channels or have donated at least 250 bits, you will be entered into our leaderboard if you end up winning 1 through 22. Get your guesses in chat. Which treasure chest is going to have the big key? Mr. Wolfling, sir, what's going to be your guess?
This seed's been kind of a troll. So, I'm going to not guess a specific chest, but I'm going to guess the room. I'm going to say that the big key is in Stalfos' room with the 4th and final sword that we know of in the same room. And Probs pulls it first. I kind of want Probs to have that sword.
I kind of do too, so I'm gonna play along with the game. I'm gonna say number 18. It's been the number I've been guessing recently anyway. Zaaen, both of them losing precious seconds. Zaaen dashing over, Problems missing the hookshot glitch. I'm gonna go number 18 again. I want it to go deep to give Problems a chance to get that sword.
All right, and they are
man, this is close.
They are a screen apart right now. Technically the same screen even. We will be following Problems in terms of the item, for the sake of the big key guessing game. But both are opening the tower in an hour and 33 minutes. Oh boy, this is going to come down to left or right. Let's see some hype here in chat, folks. Well, let's see who you're rooting for.
Yeah, we are going to be following Problem screen in terms of the guess. It's the first one in, so if there is a route divergence, we're still going to be counting the number of chests based on what Problems opens.
Big key in chest 1!
What? And there's a key!
It's a jet tower! Oh my goodness! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a race!
What is this? Problems! Oh no, Problems is going further! He wants a sword!
No, he wants the second key. That'll let him skip the Helmsor fight. The mini Helmsor is a little bit later.
Okay, yeah.
And who guessed chest 1?
No one guessed chest 1. The closest one was number 4 is Inawar, who guessed number 4. He was the closest, so 1 is not a popular guess, I can imagine.
Oh, it's no one saw it coming, to be honest, not even us.
I think everyone wanted a late sword to give problems here, but Zaaen now has taken a bit of the lead. He has tempered sword, so he'll be able to get through this a little bit faster. Oh my god, this is gonna be so hype!
And that lead's gonna slowly but surely extend because Zaaen does have just a little bit of a better gauntlet combat. Because he can kill these Zaacs in one hit. Problems will at least take 2 hits with his Master Sword.
It's still anyone's race. I mean, it could be a Ganon fall, it could be a Moldorm fall. This is still super hype. Stay tuned, folks. And more importantly than that, if you think this race was good, these guys still have at least one more race that they have to do.
I hope they go a full set, to be honest. This is one of the races to watch, I would say. Man, I think every race I've commentated thus far in brackets has been an extremely close one.
Oh, absolutely. And for everyone who's keeping track, if you want to watch the rematch of whatever happens here, their next match is scheduled. It's going to be Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern. We don't know what channel it's going to be on yet, but just mark your calendars. Wednesday at 12:30, Zaaen versus ProblemsIRL, the rematch. This has been a hype race. We still don't know who's going to come out ahead. This is so close.
Yeah, we're already seeing Problems drinking their blue potion now. As Zaaen is now waiting for the torches to go out so that he doesn't get glitched here. And there's the small key from the helmet searchers.
Problems also checking that, making sure he doesn't stop, glitch and despawn the entire top half.
And here's the boulder fight. A fall here from Zaaen could be catastrophic.
A fall from either one is going to be catastrophic.
Nope. Oh!
Oh, Zaaen! Twice!
Boulder tried!
He tried his best. Oh man, he's trying on Problems too. Oh, and Problems gets a poke, unfortunately. Oh, okay. Problems doesn't get knocked off either. Man, Moldorm tried to make this a race, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And Moldorm's having some problems.
Just use the cape. But yes, Moldorm's last chest was looted. It's just an arrow booster. Alright, Zaaen into Aga 2 at 137 and 50. Problems in there at 137.55. This is a 5-second race!
And a triple from Zaaen, it looked like there. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that looked like a double, unfortunately, for Problems.
Oh my god! This is a race you dream of watching because of how close it is.
Zaaen
first one.
Zaane's defeated Aga 2, 128-28. Problems defeated Aga 128-30. This is getting super close! Oh my goodness!
There's still so much time to be made up. Zaaen has Tempered Sword. Problems is gonna have to spin.
Zaaen has Tempered Sword, but look at Zaane's health going into the Ganon fight. He could die.
I don't know how many safeties Zaaen has.
So folks, Ganon fight. It'll be 12 slashes for Zaaen, 12 spin attacks for Problems. That is just to progress these first 2 phases. That is how much of a time difference Tempered versus Master saves.
Oh man, Zaaen took 1 hit to the face. He's using cape strats right now and is got a good wall. He's gonna be able to use spins himself.
Alright. Zane's out. Does have a blue, so he's good to go. Into phase 3. Problems into phase 2. So it'll come down to see if Zane gets caught by a fireball here. Fire bat and falls. One shot from the silver arrow. Needs another 3. Gets this torch glitch.
That's
Yeah, no
one
chance.
more.
Ooh! Almost falls there. But get your GG's out for Zane! The winner of this race. Very nicely done. Let me get you an official SR TV time here for you. And there it is. Zane finishing with a time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, 31 seconds. There's the P-Torp was here! I called it!
B-Torp was here. All 4 bottles had a B. My goodness.
Oh my goodness. And there you go. ProblemsIRL has now finished. What a race!
Man, this was super, super tight.
It did come down to the Masters, the Tempered Sword, and Aga. Oh my goodness, can I call them or what? But we're gonna get them both in here for the interview in just a little bit here. But GG's once again to both of our runners. They put on an excellent race for us here.
This is one of those matches. Yeah, I'm super hyped for watching game 2. My goodness.
Oh, my heart's pounding here. I need that moment just to recompose. I don't know about the runners.
Just to collect yourself here.
Oh. What a scene, what a scene. All right, both of our runners are waiting for us here in setup. We're going to give them just a moment and let them come in when they're ready.
This was an amazing seed to watch. And okay, we have Zane in channel now. GG, Zane.
Zane, this was a huge race. Oh my goodness. It literally came down to a Tempered versus Mastered Ganon fight.
Yeah, what a seed. You got pretty much nothing at the beginning and then I don't know what to say. It was a really, really weird seed.
Yeah. Problems actually had a big there he is actually. Problems. GG's as well.
No, GG.
So let's walk you guys through exactly what happened, because first of all, this seed was linear as heck.
I noticed.
Two things ended up happening. You know, Zane followed pretty well the logic from start to finish. The difference here, good things happened. Problems did a sequence break around Aga, did the water walking glitch in order to get to the other side of East Dark World, so he got to skip the whole Aga sequence. The problem was Zane then was able to get the Tempered Sword on Lumberjack Ledge, and even though Problems, you had about, I would say, a 20 to 30 second head start going into even Argus, just chipping away at that time between Argus and Trinex, and then going through everything. By the time you got to the top of Ganon's Tower, Zane had about a 5 to 10 second head start on Ganon, and then the Ganon fight.
Yeah, you had a significant lead with that sequence break. Unfortunately, I believe most of it was wasted in checking Misery Mire, which unfortunately had nothing. Nope.
Yeah, Misery Mire feels like the big one. I already talked to Zane. I know he had the Tempered Sword, and I think I debated for like a good 3 minutes whether I should do Aga and if Tempered Sword was actually faster. or if the sequence break was it, and I finally, decided it was the sequence break that was faster. And I think it was, because, Zane didn't check Meyer, and I checked Meyer, and it was like, what, a 40-second race?
Okay, I have to
So,
mention this real quick. We had a master shovel. Wow.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. I was forced to choose between South Ledge plus Bombos or 2 items in Meyer, so that's a 50-50, two items in each spot, so I kind of just got to guess, and I guessed wrong, and I guess that cost me the race.
Yeah. But this was a really close one as well. Also, I want to point out that all 4 of the bottles were found. All of them had Bs, and we ended with Vitor was here.
Yeah, I noticed there was like one more at Zora, and where was the last one again? The 4th one?
Zora Ledge, I believe.
Oh,
You
yeah,
didn't have
that
flippers
was
at the time.
Yeah. It was a golden bee, a normal bee, and 2 unknowns, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, what a seed.
what
I
a
completely
scene.
forgot about the water working ledge that you can set up in Scarwoods.
Yeah, that hammer that was actually really trolly. It's such an unsuspecting, spot for the hammer to be in, but given all the other items and where they were hidden, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, it came down to an Agahnim. Everything happened right there at the end. But all things considering, it was an extremely close race. You can't be mad at this one. Could things have gone drastically differently? Probably, yeah. But at the same time, a 1 minute difference, roughly, and a pretty exciting climb up the tower.
Yeah, must have been pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, I figured it was a good watch.
So, yeah.
It was a ton of fun to watch on this end. Thank you guys so much for putting on such a race. And just confirming, you guys have the rematch. Game 2 is Wednesday, same bat time, same. Well, I don't know about the same channel, but
Yes, it's Wednesday, same time.
All right. Looking forward to seeing another really close race. Let's hope for a trifecta here, because all the bracket races so far have been really tight. So yeah, once again, GG's to you both. So I'm not sure if I should say final words or not, but anyway. If you like what you see from these 2 runners, make sure to definitely give these 2 a follow. They absolutely deserve it. And while you're at it, make sure to also give a follow to Michael K, who was our tracker this race, doing an excellent job keeping it up. Also, Vitasia, my co-comp, did an excellent job as well, I would say.
no, thank you so much, Wolflink. It's always a pleasure to work with you. And again, a GG to both Problems and Zane. Really looking forward to the rematch.
Yes, and while you're also following all of those, make sure to also follow us here in Speed Gaming 3. And also, we also have a few other channels of Speed Gaming. Speed Gaming's 1, 2, and 4 through 6 as well. And if that's not enough Link to the Vast Randomizer action for you, we also have our own Twitch channel, a Link to the Vast Randomizer. And we also have 3 sub-channels there, 2, 3, and 4. Make sure to give those follows as well, so you don't miss a single action of the race. This race today is jam-packed, full of races. It's going to be all the way going through 11 o'clock, I think. We're going to have races all throughout the day. But yeah, I have been Wolflink0370.
And I've been Vitation.
And from all of us here at Link to Vast Randomizer, we'll see you all next time. And thank you for watching. Good night, everyone.